The air you are breathing right now is 78% nitrogen. Nitrogen is the element that makes plants explode with green growth. It is the most expensive ingredient in every bag of fertilizer you have ever purchased. And you are surrounded by an infinite ocean of it. Every breath, every second, free. So why are you standing in a garden center, staring at a $40 bag of blue crystals, paying a corporation to sell you something that is literally everywhere? Because they never taught you how to harvest it yourself. They never showed you the biological machine that does it automatically. A machine so powerful, so relentless, so absurdly efficient that governments have labeled it a threat, not because it fails, because it works too well. This is the story of the plant that pulls money out of thin air, the fertilizer factory that fits in a bucket, the organism so dominant it once changed the climate of the entire planet. This is Azolla, the mosquito fern, the duckweed that is not duckweed, the infinite nitrogen hack that industrial agriculture buried because it cannot be sold in a bag. Welcome to nature's blacklist. Let us establish the crime scene. In 1909, a German chemist named Fritz Haber figured out how to rip nitrogen from the atmosphere and combine it with hydrogen to make ammonia. His colleague Carl Bosch scaled the process to industrial production, the Haber-Bosch process. It won them both Nobel Prizes. It also created modern agriculture's most profitable addiction. Before 1913, farmers understood soil. They rotated crops, they planted legumes, they composted, they worked with biology. After 1913, they bought bags. The entire global food system became dependent on synthetic nitrogen manufactured in factories burning natural gas. Today, that system consumes roughly 2% of the world's total energy supply just to make fertilizer. 2% of all human energy, to synthesize something that floats past your face with every exhale. The fertilizer industry is now worth over $200 billion annually. They have convinced 3 generations of farmers and gardeners that fertility comes from a factory, that the only path to green growth runs through their supply chain, that you must purchase life from a corporation. Meanwhile, Azolla has been doing the job for free for 100 million years. No natural gas, no industrial process, no purchase necessary, just sunlight, water, and a partnership so elegant it makes human chemistry look like a child banging rocks together. Here is where it gets strange. Azolla is not one organism, it is 2. What you see floating on the water, that delicate frond that looks like green lace, is the fern itself. But hidden inside its leaves, in specialized cavities that function like biological apartments, lives a tenant, a cyanobacterium called Anabaena azollae. This is not parasitism, this is alliance. The cyanobacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, a form plants can actually use. In exchange, Azolla provides them shelter, carbon, and a stable environment. They have been running this deal for at least 80 million years. It is the oldest successful partnership in the history of agriculture. The numbers are not subtle. A healthy Azolla mat can fix between 40 and 60 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare per year. Some studies report rates as high as 250 kilograms under optimal conditions. Compare that to a bag of synthetic ammonium nitrate. Azolla does not just match chemical fertilizer. Under the right circumstances, it buries it. And here is the detail that should make you put down the credit card forever. Azolla doubles its biomass every 2 to 3 days. Let that sink in. You start with a handful. In a week, you have a carpet. In 2 weeks, you have more than you can use. In a month, you are giving it away to neighbors. This is not gardening. This is biological manufacturing. You are not growing a plant. You are operating a living factory that prints nitrogen while you sleep. The fern itself is small. Triangular fronds rarely more than 2 centimeters across, overlapping like roof tiles. The color ranges from bright green in partial shade to deep red in full sun. The red comes from anthocyanins, the same pigments that make autumn leaves blaze. That color shift is not decoration. It is the plant's sunscreen, protecting the cyanobacteria from ultraviolet damage. Azolla floats. It has no roots anchoring it to soil. Instead, fine root-like structures dangle beneath the surface, absorbing nutrients directly from the water. This is important. It means Azolla can grow anywhere there is still water. A pond, a ditch, a plastic tub in your backyard, a forgotten bucket behind the shed. Do not confuse it with duckweed. Duckweed is simpler, rounder, and lacks the feathery texture. Azolla has that distinctive triangular branching pattern, almost fern-like, which makes sense because it is a fern. The smallest fern on Earth, and one of the most powerful nitrogen fixers in any ecosystem. Now we need to talk about why this plant terrifies governments. Azolla is classified as invasive in many regions. Environmental agencies publish warnings. Some jurisdictions prohibit its sale. The reason is simple. Azolla is too good at its job. In the wrong context, an Azolla bloom can cover an entire lake in weeks. It forms mats so dense they block sunlight from reaching underwater plants. Fish suffocate. Ecosystems collapse. Waterways become green deserts. This has happened. It will happen again wherever humans are careless. But here is the reframe. That destructive power is the same power that built civilizations. The same aggression that chokes a river can carpet a rice paddy with free fertility. The difference is containment. The difference is intention. The difference is you. Chinese and Vietnamese farmers figured this out over 1,000 years ago. They did not fight Azolla. They weaponized it. The practice is called Azolla cultivation in rice paddies. Before the rice is transplanted, farmers flood the field and inoculate it with Azolla. The fern spreads, fixing nitrogen, shading out weeds, and cooling the water. When the rice goes in, the Azolla is either incorporated into the soil as green manure or pushed to the edges, where it continues fixing nitrogen throughout the growing season. This system works. It has been feeding billions of people across Asia for centuries. No synthetic input, no industrial supply chain, just a fern, a bacterium, and the sun. But that is ancient history. Let us talk about something older. 49 million years ago, the Arctic Ocean was not frozen. It was a warm, brackish sea, isolated from global currents by the surrounding land masses. And something unprecedented happened. Azolla bloomed, not a pond bloom, not a lake bloom, an oceanic bloom covering hundreds of thousands of square kilometers. For roughly 800,000 years, Azolla carpeted the Arctic waters, fixing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere at a rate never seen before or since. Scientists call it the Azolla event. The evidence is buried in sediment cores pulled from the Arctic seafloor, layer after layer of compressed Azolla fossils, so thick they form distinct geological strata. The Azolla event correlates with one of the most dramatic climate shifts in Earth's history. Atmospheric carbon dioxide dropped by roughly 80%. Global temperatures plummeted. The planet transitioned from a greenhouse state to the icehouse conditions that eventually produced the ice ages. A fern, smaller than your thumbnail, helped rewrite the climate of an entire planet. That is the organism you are dealing with. That is the biological force you can harness in a 5-gallon bucket. The practical application is almost embarrassingly simple. Find a container, anything that holds water, a plastic storage bin, a child's wading pool, an old bathtub. Fill it with water. Add a thin layer of soil or aged manure at the bottom, maybe 2 inches, to provide trace minerals. Float your starter Azolla on the surface. Place the container where it gets partial sun, 4 to 6 hours daily. Full scorching sun can stress the plants, but too much shade slows growth. Now wait. Within days, the mat will begin expanding. Within 2 weeks, you will be harvesting. Skim the excess with a kitchen strainer. Let it drain briefly. Then use it. The applications multiply. Dig it directly into garden beds as green manure. The high nitrogen content breaks down fast, feeding your soil biology. Spread it as mulch around established plants. It suppresses weeds, retains moisture, and slowly releases nutrients as it decomposes. Compost it in your pile as a nitrogen activator. Azolla is so nitrogen-rich it can jumpstart cold compost heaps that have stalled, or feed it to chickens. This is where Azolla becomes genuinely subversive to the feed industry. Dried Azolla contains roughly 25 to 30% crude protein. Fresh Azolla runs lower, around 5%, but chickens will eat it raw, straight from the bucket. Some permaculture operations report replacing up to 30% of their commercial feed with Azolla. That is 30% less money flowing to the grain corporations, 30% more self-sufficiency, eggs that cost less. A closed loop where your fertilizer factory also feeds your livestock. The critical warning must be absolute. Never let Azolla escape into local waterways, not a single frond. The same explosive growth that makes it useful in containment makes it catastrophic in the wild. Dispose of excess Azolla in your compost, your garden beds, or your chicken run. Never down the drain, never into the gutter, never into that creek behind your property. You are handling a biological weapon. Respect the power. Contain the beast. There is a philosophical dimension here that transcends gardening technique. The modern economy is built on manufactured scarcity. You must buy seeds because they bred the plants to be sterile. You must buy fertilizer because they depleted the soil. You must buy pesticides because they eliminated the predators. Every link in the chain is a toll booth. Every season requires another payment. Azolla rejects that architecture entirely. It reproduces vegetatively, endlessly, without permission. It manufactures its own fertility from air and sunlight. It requires no corporate input, no annual purchase, no subscription fee. It is abundance encoded in biology. It is wealth that multiplies while you sleep. Growing Azolla is not just gardening. It is opting out. It is a declaration that you refuse to participate in a system designed to extract money from your need to eat. Every bucket of Azolla is a small act of rebellion against the $200 billion fertilizer industry. Every handful of green muck worked into your garden soil is a vote for a different kind of economy. An economy where fertility is grown, not bought, where abundance is the default, not scarcity. They told you nitrogen had to come from a factory. They told you fertility was something you purchased in plastic bags. They told you the system was necessary. They lied. The truth has been floating on ponds since the dinosaurs walked. A fern so small it fits on your fingernail. A symbiosis so ancient it predates human agriculture by 80 million years. A biological machine so powerful it once cooled an entire planet. Azolla does not care about their business model. It just grows, and grows, and grows. The only question left is whether you will let it grow for you. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe to Nature's Blacklist and hit the bell. Every like, every share, spreads the knowledge they tried to drown in a sea of blue crystals. The fertilizer rebellion starts in your backyard. The next vault opens soon.